Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about the Steam Machine because the possible price has just leaked and it is $1,000 American, 1,000 American dollars, according to some leaked retailer listings. Now, some people are immediately trying to scream fake news, saying there's no way this is real, there's no way that's ever going to be real, but let's just face facts. There have been other leaked prices. This has happened in the past. That's how we figured out the price of the ROG Ally X. You know, the handheld Xbox that's $1,000. That had a similar circumstance. A lot of times prices do leak early. And I gotta say that to me, when it came to the idea of the Steam Machine, I loved it as a philosophy almost. I became utterly obsessed with my Steam Deck the second I got it because it almost feels like this separate option. Right now, there's PC gaming and there's console gaming. And I like the fact that the Steam Machine feels like this cool center lane. It's the ease of use of consoles. You know, your controllers automatically work. It's Steam. It's got cloud saves. It's got good deals. But also, it's got that PC experience, customization, mods, emulators, crazy filters. I feel like a $1,000 price tag very much dampers the prospect of, hey, here's something that anybody can have access to. But with the rising price of PCs, I guess a $1,000 price tag is unfortunately realistic for this current RAM shortage, but it still feels like way too much. Let's take a look at the leaks, and let's sort of judge for ourselves whether this is a real or very fake. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, running up to this, they revealed the original Steam Machine. The first pictures of it, the first tech breakdown stuff happened in November. So what, like almost a little bit exactly 2 months ago, right? And initially, they've been vague about everything other than the power and the pricing of this. They've been very clear that this is a pretty beefy piece of tech. It's very customized. It's a micro PC with a cool controller and stuff. But they've also basically said, we're trying to not talk about the price because we don't know the price. There's a lot of stuff that's very much in flux tech-wise worldwide, but people's early guesses were like things 400 or 500. To me, my psychopathic guess is I said under 400, you're going to take over the world. Then some people said it's actually probably going to be closer to 700 or 750. That's what Linus Tech Tips said after actually talking to the developers. But then we had the worldwide shortage. AI has now bought up pretty much every RAM stick on the planet. In fact, AI companies are now even buying factories that produce any RAM at all. We're talking GPUs and CPUs just across the board. Prices have gone up so much. This week, I actually bought a RTX 5070. And I was like, okay, so this is obviously a 5080. 5080 is now $1,000. I bought this. This went up in price $100 the day after I bought it. So the idea of a $1,000 console is unfortunately not really outside the realm of possibility. But where did this information come from, right? So there is a Czechoslovakian, a Czech retailer called Smarty. Now, Smarty, they're sort of doing this thing where they had these placeholder early listings of, hey, here's how you're going to buy it, right? And people data mined. What you can do a lot of times on a website is like inspect element. Now, smart websites, they hide all this. They don't just make it where you can just basically look at all the placeholder values and stuff. But here it is. So this is not publicly displayed yet, but essentially it's $950 pre-tax for the 512 gig version, and 2 terabytes is $1,070, basically $1,100. Oh my God. Keep in mind, this is a third-party seller, so the official price directly from Valve could end up lower, and maybe this is a reseller thing where they have their own like markup, but a lot of people over on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, they're basically saying this is unfortunately kind of realistic. Yeah, at that price, I'm good. Price is 100% probably placeholder BS, but it is also in line with the estimates, maybe a little on the higher side. They already made a decent amount of cope over on the Steam Machine thread, so the actual pricing announcement is going to be absolutely gnarly to watch on Reddit. And I did check, the Steam Machine Reddit is basically saying, brother, worth also noting, this could be an employee just typing in random prices, so we don't know that. I really hope this is the case. The Steam Machine price will be closely guarded secret until the launch. Valve employee. Yeah, except for that Czech retailer, right? Oh, obviously. Also send them a copy of Half-Life 3. So, Look at that. Czech retailer sells a 520 OLED Steam Deck for $770. So the price means nothing for now. Not real. This could not be an officially authorized seller. So just take it as the fact that as realistic as these numbers are, we really don't know if this is real or not. Now, keep in mind, Valve has said themselves they're only going to sell the Steam machine through Steam. They've already said this officially. You can actually go to Steam and they have a new tab now that says hardware. They have said, and I feel like this is a giant mistake in my opinion, but Valve has said, we're not trying to put these things into Best Buys. We're not trying to put these things into Walmarts. I feel like they absolutely should. I feel like, especially if you're trying to compete to the console market, having more than just a tiny little marketplace online, I think that would have helped. But it is interesting that a lot of people are like, so this does seem sort of correct. Even that price difference between the 512 versus the 2 terabytes, people are saying, okay, seems kind of typical. Who knows what will be considered a reasonable price this year with the AI shortage? So the thing to me is that there is the problem with the Steam machine, which is that they're shooting for a price coming out in roughly March. A lot of the talks, now again, this isn't from Valve themselves, but a lot of the rumblings is that they're trying to launch the Steam machine around March, right? So what, 2 months from the recording of this video. How much have prices gone up literally in the last 20 days? We're not even talking the last year. How much have prices gone up in literally the last 20 days? Since Christmas to now, how much have prices gone up? A ridiculous amount. So my point of view is that maybe they're already aiming for that future price point right now with this $1,000 number, right? There has been talks. They have said specifically the Steam machine is not being subsidized, meaning that when you buy an Xbox, when you buy a PlayStation, when you buy anything right, that they're taking some amount of a price cut themselves. If they're making it for $750, they're selling it to you for $700 because that's just the gateway drug. You buy our hardware and now you have to buy stuff through the PlayStation Store. There's no other way to buy stuff on a PlayStation except through the PlayStation Store. Steam has said, these are micro powerful PCs. We cannot afford to sell them at a loss because you may never buy a Steam game with it. You may completely use it to play emulators or mine Bitcoin. Or they said this thing's going to be power enough you could just edit videos on it and stuff. And they're like, we can't just straight up sell it to you at a loss because if someone buys, like if a game studio buys 1,000 of these, we lose hundreds of thousands of dollars for no reason, right? So I understand this not being subsidized, but I think that's kind of what this is trying to do. They're trying to sell it for a profit, but it's for the profit that's going to be available in March. I'm just going to say it. I think this price is real. I think 100%, even if this Czech retailer is kind of making a guess, I think the idea of a $1,000 Steam machine, I think it's very, very, very unfortunately realistic. As mad as these comments are, as much as these people are saying jokes about the check is in the mail, why does a Czech retailer know the price? Because they didn't just check, they double checked. Look at everybody is basically like, brother, this is just no way. This website specifically is famous for making up prices of unreleased products. This happens all the time. This is one of the most expensive electronic stores in the country. I'm saying that even if this price source is fake, I think you guys should start setting aside the money now. If you're wanting a Steam machine, I would save up. Before the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 came out, we knew they were going to be $500, right? We knew those were going to be $500 each. And I saved up and set aside $1,000 to buy both those consoles at launch. And it sucks to think about it, but at this point in 2026, if you want a Steam machine, I'd say set that $1,000 aside now. Or else you're not going to have this at launch. These have been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about the idea of a $1,000 Steam machine? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if this just seems like fake news BS, please tell me in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And please like the video and keep dreaming. God. $1,000, man. God. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.